Hi.
Well, we are active. Um,
So call 12 chats with a new Etherean.
yes, 12 in. Yes, Didactic JD and
So
Super Phiz making it happen.
the backstory is Jason was a public school teacher. And hey, look, you can see what I like. And he got
17
fed up.
years of French. I'm wearing my Napoleon Bonaparte hoodie. So, yeah.
That is scary, honestly. um, Jason reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, you do crypto. How do I get involved?" And so he quit without a landing or without a safety net. He just you were done, right? And I don't blame you, but you're just done.
It was not the wisest of decisions.
But so to have worked at a job for 17 years, you're not spastic. That's a real commitment. I I don't have any judgment for you leaving that job without a safety net because you don't present yourself as a spastic person. You got fed up. You
Well,
did what was best for you.
I went out on a good note too. I had my best observation ever, like right before Christmas break. So better, I guess, to go out strong than with a whimper. But there was a lot about it. I really did like working with people who want to learn is so great, and working
Yeah.
with people who don't want to learn is so not great.
Yeah.
And
I I loved my time as a school counselor. Uh it was a awesome opportunity to give back to kids. But working for school districts does tend to uh drain you, like exhaust the living being out of you, and they don't give back. School districts don't give back. They only take from you. Uh
yeah,
and so it's probably good that you um moved on while there's still like hope and life in you.
yeah. There were a few sort of telling moments that suggested that now might be the time to make a move. But one of them was uh, saying that men reach maturity at 43, and I had turned 43 this year, and I thought, well, here we are, and felt like I was still young enough where if I wanted to develop some skills, I still had time to do that and not feel too antiquated. But at the same time, maybe have a little bit of wisdom that when I was 26 and starting teaching, maybe I had a lot of enthusiasm and maybe not a lot of common sense. And
you know One of the things I found is it's easy to discount your own abilities. So you obviously have ability as a teacher. Regardless of whether you started with a lot of ability or a little ability, having done it for so long, like, you have accrued a lot of skill.
yeah,
And it's easy to come here and not be able to see how that connects because you assume that everyone can do the same things you can do. But education is something that is woefully lacking. Like, I watched the video you did. Hold on. How to avoid scams. And the thing I loved about it is it doesn't take all the things for granted that I always take for granted. I'm like, why isn't he digging into this little nuance? And the reality is the nuance doesn't matter. What matters is people need a broad overview, and you can deliver that. So I'm excited.
well, I appreciate that. I tell you what is hard, and I guess I've mentioned it. It's like when you're in a routine professionally, it can just almost operate on a subconscious level. It's almost like autopilot. You know how to do most things. You can go in, you're in a routine, when things are going to happen. And right now, oof, everything is confusing and slow and awkward, and nothing is graceful. And but even just in the last 4 weeks of our 12 chats, I could at least use Zoom a little bit better now, and getting around a little bit better on this Windows PC, and just a few things are already starting to get a little bit easier, and that is a big relief.
Rapid growth times are really difficult. I think they're difficult for anyone, and you forced yourself into a rapid growth cycle.
Yeah, I think as you get
that's
older,
cool.
it gets even harder.
I feel like it is resource and comfort based. And so if you have a lot of resources, if you have a lot of comfort, it's difficult to get out and do something new. But if you're short on resources and short on comfort, then you're scrappy and you're trying to get
I've been
those
short
things
on
back.
comfort and rather short on resources. Yes, and there has been much scrappiness as a result of that. Yes, with comfort, it can be very hard to be scrappy, because you can retreat back to that comfort, and if you take that out of the equation, which I largely feel like that has been the case. Yeah, you're fighting to stay alive. So, but so far still breathing, and it's good.
Good. And it's fun that we're documenting these. I think in 10 years, when you look back at these, when whatever success you found, you'll look back and you'll be like, oh yeah, I did that thing with Phiz, and that was pretty interesting.
It is good.
So I
Yeah,
think
this is
that's fun.
a very interesting timestamp. This is such an interesting time right now. There's so much going. It seems like there's a lot of benchmarks to society going on right now, and this is I mean, personally, a big earmark on that time. So yeah, this is going to be a very memorable period of life for sure.
So things that we ought to chat about. You wanted to talk about ETHDenver, and I want to talk about your 1 minute clips.
Okay.
So which of those do you want to?
Well, let's see. I'll tell you where I'm at with ETHDenver. It's Friday. They said by Saturday I would get my volunteer assignment, and I am presuming that that's gonna arrive fairly shortly. I applied for merch, and I can't remember what the other application was. Maybe like an attendant for one of the themed recreation rooms or something like that. But yeah, I should find out what I'm going to do. I should have 6 hours of, they said 2 shifts of 3 to 6 hours. So, of the 3 days I'm there, I'll be volunteering half the time, it looks like.
I would encourage you. So a lot of people are using that volunteer experience to get in or get something out of it. I would encourage you to use that to like just do the best service that you can do. Like be the best servant to whoever you're working with or for, or whoever you meet, because those, while they're not going to seem like immediate opportunities, you're like, I'm slinging shirts, what kind of opportunity is this? You're really beginning to lay this foundation of who you are in the Ethereum ecosystem. And you want to lay this foundation of being someone who's hardworking, somebody who's trustworthy, someone who's, again, the thing that I say so many times, you're giving more than you're taking. That is, if I could summarize anything that I want to do or anything I want to encourage other people to do, it's literally give more than you take. And experience tells me that when you give more than you take, your cup kind of gets filled up. And that is the magic we're looking for. People who are greedy tend to end up with nothing, and people who are generous tend to do very well. So
I watched a very interesting documentary last night that was talking about the law of attraction and how manipulative it is, and and how it was about scammers. Going on my theme of my video on scams, but it was talking about the scammers in that realm of scamming, and and a lot of people get deluded by the optimism and thinking that you just have to will something into happening. But Yeah, I see the point you're making, and if being reliable and on time and authentic are what we're going for, those are things that I can do without much problem. So I'm comfortable with that. What has perpetually been the case, I feel like I have to record everything, because recording these videos and watching them again, that does help my understanding. I sort of wish that I could have a just recording like a police officer's vest cam the
Yeah,
whole time.
Google released a product like that one time. Google had a product like where you would just wear a clip and it would record everything. You
Yeah.
should do that. You should be the guy. That's an opportunity to be unique, like an opportunity to pursue something that's interesting to you that other people aren't doing. Get a body cam and
Uh,
do it. Like,
yeah, unfortunately, I don't have 48 hours in the day to review the material before the next day starts, but it's it would help so much. I worry about, and this has happened when I've traveled abroad too. You there's so much ambiguity, and I'm pretty tolerant of ambiguity, but I'm also in this particular case super self-conscious about Uh, being oblivious and being naive, and because I'm afraid it translates to uselessness. And
can you
slowly but
do you mean
surely, and having
in
patience.
are you referencing ETHDenver specifically or cryptocurrency in general?
Yeah, crypto in general.
So you you have a gift that many people don't have, and not to be offensive, that gift is naivety. So you get to look with a fresh set of eyes, with an educator's heart, at something I can't go back to. I can't go back to day one and see what I didn't know and link to that and share it with other people. Even if I lie to myself and be like, oh yeah, I can do that. I cannot have those eyes that you have. And it's a really valuable thing. Um, it's if you're able to acknowledge it and say, I know nothing, where do I start? And if you can produce content that is like, this is what I learned yesterday. This is what I learned yesterday. If you're staying like, as a teacher, you're staying like one day ahead, then you're going to connect with an audience who is right where you are. And we've discussed there are like 7 billion people who are where you are.
Well, I mean, Bloom's taxonomy, and just hearing a thing or saying a thing, that does not get you very far. And really, once you got to get your hands dirty, and you have to apply it and explain it, and that's when you get into some deeper levels of appreciating the content and adopting the material as your own. And so it's good for me. It's healthy. I'm eating my vegetables.
Yeah, one of the things I talk a lot about with new people is the number of exposures. Like, how many exposures do you need to a new idea before you can evaluate it, or before you're able to internalize it? And so,
A lot of times.
and that's okay. But
Yeah.
so for some things for you, it may be a lot of exposures. So you can say, I'm a 10 exposure person. That means I have to see it 10 times before I even stop to to ask myself the question, is this something I'm interested in? So what I like to believe is that, like, there are most of the people in the world are like 15 or 20 exposure people. They're going to see your one YouTube video clip and they're going to dismiss it, but it's an exposure. And when they sum up all of those exposures, one day they're going to wake up and they're going to see it and they're going to be like, yeah, I've heard a lot about that. I wonder what that is. And that is the moment it will click for them. And so as an educator, that's where your exposures benefit, everyone.
Well, I'm happy to add a layer of exposure. And honestly, this is sort of something that I've been into the idea for a long time of content creation. And I had sort of laid it to rest. And this has been a really nice impetus catalyst to drive it back into action. Because I do like creating content and editing video and learning new stuff and putting stuff out there. So it's stressful but fun.
Yeah. Well, I imagine it's stressful because your income stream is uncertain. And like I mentioned, I don't have any problem acknowledging this publicly. We talked about an opportunity for you to review ETHStaker calls and choose 1-minute clips that are valuable to share, and then tweet those on YouTube. That to me it's a really exciting intro opportunity because you're exposing yourself to these calls, you're learning, and you're having to choose like what's the kernel here? Because I watch things for an hour sometimes and don't know the kernel. And you're getting a fair pay for it.
The repetitions and the critical thinking do help adopt the material better, and it is a very fortunate opportunity, and I'm very thankful for that for a lot of reasons, and I am excited that I was afforded that opportunity. So going to try to do a good job.
The pivot here, the pivot here is for you to kill that, and then for someone else to say, you know, whoever, whether it's a company or whether it's a new project, and they say, not only is ETHStaker producing 1-minute video clips, they're the perfect clips. They're the clips that we need from our content. Who is the person doing that? And then potentially they reach out to us, to you, and say, hey, can you for us too? That is where you get the growth that I really think that you're aiming for, trying to get to. So I would love it if it could springboard into some other opportunities like that. But for the time being, there are still just great, valuable elements to take away from on a daily level. And I'd like to you may brand those with a watermark if that helps you, because it one of the things we're doing here, we're also building the didactic Jason JD brand, and a brand has value, and it's something that you do want to continue to cultivate. It's good. You're doing good work, and you ought to cultivate your brand with that.
You're right. And I'm working on it a little bit, just trying to come up with some sort of structure. I don't know a lot about branding, but I
don't either. I just make it up.
Okay.
Like, it's my idea of branding is being authentic. Like, if you want people to, that's really a terrible way to say it. Hold on. I don't know. Maybe I can't talk about it because I'm not really good at it. But what I guess at some point I want to separate some of our content. Some of the things you do, I want to show up on ETHStaker, and some of them I want to show up on ETHEDU. And so that we're commingled, and you're also building what you do in the same way that a lot of what I do is through ETHStaker, but I also do a lot through SuperPhiz. And so those two things feed back forth to each other.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I would like to do that. I'll look into how to make a watermark. I can't imagine it's too terribly difficult.
Well, ETHStaker has an automatic. So Unvetica, who is our media specialist guru, set up our YouTube channel to include one by default, and you would just want to make sure that it didn't
cover that up,
overlap with that. But then maybe you could add one to your own channel. I do think these chats are probably better hosted on your channor than ETHStaker.
Okay.
But
it builds up a body of content that's not there, so for sure.
Yeah, they get more organic views through ETHStaker. I'm sorry, they get more views. They're not necessarily organic. They're subscriber views, but they get more views through ETHStaker. But it's also not specifically staking content, which is what people come for. Right. People are going to come to ETHEDU for learning content about Ethereum basics, and that's why it makes sense over the long term or short term, whenever, to begin disambiguating those.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And what with the networking that might happen at ETHDenver, maybe I could set up some special chats with some subject matter experts, and we could talk about some foundational concepts. So that would be cool.
Let's talk about ETHDenver for a minute. So we talked about the volunteering part, but like the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah. So you have an Airbnb? You have a place to stay? Is that right?
Yeah, I have an Airbnb and it looks pretty close. There's also a shuttle service for the volunteers. So I think if I can get myself to one of the hotels, which I'm pretty sure I'm close to a couple of them, I can maybe forego some of those Uber fees and just get myself shuttled to the venue.
Well, I as the person who invited you to this, I don't intend to set you up for suffering. So I will make sure that um, I don't want you to be put out by. In fact, I want you to focus on the opportunity to learn and connect and not suffer through it. So we'll take care of many of those things. But
yeah, we're
so,
it's looking really good. The Airbnb saved a lot of money from as compared to some of the hotel fees, and it looks like the location is going to work. And then this shuttle was really good idea. I think things are falling into place, and the plane ticket was not even. I've never paid so little for a plane ticket in my life. $60 for a round trip ticket. That's not bad at all.
That's insane.
Yeah, I couldn't believe
maybe they just needed to move planes, and so they're like, if we're going to move planes, we might as well put people on them. But you mentioned something that interested me, and it was finding subject matter experts and chatting with them. I think one big opportunity you'll have, instead of going for known people, known subject matter experts, if you focus on normal people who are walking around, people who are just hanging out, and if you stop to say, hey, can we record a 5-minute chat about your experience with Ethereum, your experience with ETHDenver, that's valuable content.
You know what?
We always hear from the top people. Let's hear from the people who just barely got, people who are,
I do like the idea of using it as an opportunity to create content. And, as a language learner, the people that I always loved to connect with were the other language learners there. So, I mean, if I could find some other relatable, attendees who are, still at the novice level, that it would be really good to have like a little cohort of newbies and be able to chat about what we wonder about. I would like that a lot.
Building a cohort is a great topic. I have a cohort. It's ETHStaker, and you're very welcome to participate with my cohort. But the thing that you will want to do for yourself as you progress is kind of find out, who am I? Who is my cohort? And maybe your cohort are AV producers. Maybe it's educators. Whoever that cohort might, Mr. Mojo might be a good cohort connection for you.
Okay.
Have you met with him yet?
I have chatted with him on the Discord.
Okay. He has some of the same interests that you do. That is content creation, at any rate, he may be a good beginning to your own cohort, because when you begin to connect with people, and you'll have this group of 5 or 6 people that you have a Signal message group with, you have a Discord group with, and they're your daily hangout people. That may be ETHStaker for you. I do not know, but it's important that you begin to look and identify a group that you identify closely with.
Yeah, finding your tribe. But and of course these sort of gatherings like ETHDenver are great opportunities for that. Fingers crossed that we could have those kind of opportunities. And I really like the idea of being able to have some good chats with the layman, and and you know, the mutual confusion and wonder that we're experiencing.
Well, that's content that I would check out, like chilling. Like if it's a 5-minute chat, and you have them published, I would probably sort by most popular.
Mhm.
And it's the one of you know, your 5-minute chats that's going to be the most popular. It's somebody who's developing a product that no one's ever heard of, and you're going to say, "Hey, what brings you to Ethereum?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I just had this idea yesterday for widget XYZ, and so it does this and this and this and this. And anyway, it was great talking to you. So I'll see you later." And then like a year from now, that person's going to be wildly successful, and then people are going to come back and be like, "Wow, that's hilarious. That's where you had that idea." So it is just that concept of reaching out to people who are anywhere,
Hmm.
and doing a 5-minute chat. I would love it.
Sure. Well, I'll give that a whirl. Like I said, I got a shift on the second and another one on the third, but it's only about, you know, a fraction of the day, and it should leave plenty of time to meet people and
Yeah,
have those chats.
I'll also share my my personal event calendar with you.
Okay.
Some of those are invite only, but
Hmm.
many of them are public. And if they're public, so we do have an ETH staker gathering.
Hmm.
It's going to be, I believe, Nix is. I don't do calendars well. Hold on one moment. I'm going to see what it is. Um, Phiz at Denver. Where's that page at? Okay, Phiz at Denver. March 1st from 6 to 9 is the ETH
Okay.
staker meetup. Are you available then?
Yeah, yeah. I should be just getting to town. I guess around 3 or 4, I think. And so,
There's another event you ought to sign up for called Shelling Point.
okay.
What event are you flying in?
I'm coming in on the first, and I think I am supposed to leave Memphis around noon, and I should be
Oh,
there
cool.
2 or 3 ish, something like
You'll
that.
be there before me. I'm flying in at 4, so you'll be
Okay,
there where I am.
gotcha.
Um, Shelling Point, and I want to spell that for you because I want you to look it up and sign up. Is
Okay.
SCHELLING. It's a pre-conference gathering. Um, it has a long and interesting like description, but the idea of a Shelling Point is, um, if people had to randomly choose a place to meet up, how would they know where to go? So I'll
Hmm.
ask you the simple blank question. If you were in France,
Hmm.
and you and a friend are both in France, all cell networks are down, nothing works, no communication, but you needed to meet up with that friend and you didn't have any like pre-planned thing, but you knew somewhere in that country you've got to meet up with this person, and you're thinking, where are they going to go and where am I going to go that I can maximize my odds of finding them? Where would you go?
You know, one of the big, like the Louvre or the Eiffel Tower, or you know, something like.
Exactly. So that those are Shelling points. Those are places that, in the absence of communication, where can people congregate for a common purpose?
Hmm.
And so this conference is called Shelling Point. Uh, it's organized by this guy called Kevin Owaki, and it's just it's a little bit of an OG sort of thing. So I think you have a lot of fun there.
Okay.
Um, and anyway, that will get us through Wednesday, Thursday, and you'll meet up with e-stakers by then, and you'll be able to organize the rest of your own week.
That
But
sounds good. Yeah, I haven't really looked at a schedule of events, and so not sure what to expect. So yeah,
one of
just
the yeah, well, when it comes to finding your tribe, like it's important for me not to assume that your tribe is a staking tribe, because you don't have you're not like running a validator, you're not running the software or doing the things that we're doing. um but it is a great jumping off point. Like it's a great way to get involved, and if you do find yourself obsessed with it, then it's perfect. And if you don't find yourself obsessed with it, there is definitely a group for you out there.
Okay. Yeah, I get there at 3:01. I was just hit with this awful wave of anxiety that something had gone awry and I hadn't confirmed my flight. But yeah, I get there at 3:01. Whew, good.
Don't, yeah,
Oh, and I'm
it's
going back
okay.
home. Good. Looks like I took care of everything.
I need to probably check my flights. I haven't looked since I booked.
Okay.
Um,
Look before you book.
okay, so we talked about the clips. We talked about ETHDenver. Um,
We did not. Well, we didn't talk so much about the clip, or well, maybe we sufficiently clipped. I don't know.
no, what's on your mind?
Uh, it's like I said, it's not where I want it to be, but I feel like each time it's getting a little bit closer, and I got to figure out how to optimize the audio, honestly. And I think it's getting there, and I need to figure out how to spitball and acquire content ideas, and that's probably needs to be from just talking to people and seeing what they wonder about or what they ask about. And
I love I love the thing you're willing to produce without knowing. You're willing to iterate, and that's the thing. That's the reason I'm willing to hop on with you so frequently, because like, you're actually doing things. You're not. You mentioned being paralyzed with fear or anxiety. Like, you're doing content, even if it is beginner level.
hmm
Like, that is how you get better at it, by doing it over and over and over, until it's awesome. Like, that is how you're there. And I don't see other people doing that grind. I see other people getting stuck, being afraid, and like taking your first project and spending 6 months on it because you're afraid to publish, and you're
Yeah,
going for it.
I have friends that are like that with their art. They they're crippled by the idea of not producing something perfect, and so they don't produce anything. And yeah, like, me good enough now. That's not where I'm at. I would rather just, break the eggs to make the omelet and get the hands dirty and, look at the beautiful catastrophe and hopefully build build from there. And, there is something to say for having a solid foundation, and you don't want to build on top of a terrible foundation that's missing some, crucial knowledge or skills. But, hopefully can
You've
figure
got
it
to
out.
be one day ahead of your content. One day
Yeah.
ahead of your content. That's all you really have
Yeah.
to.
That's one day is actually good because it's still real fresh on your mind. It hasn't had a lot
Yeah.
of time to, be forgotten or pushed aside. But yeah, so you know what?
I
Maybe we successfully had a chat that wasn't too long today. I feel like we covered some good stuff. And
yeah. I want to talk about the secret project, but I don't want to talk
okay.
about it online, because do you know the thing I'm talking about? The
No, is there a
Well, if
hint?
I say it, then I'm going to reveal. Uh,
Oh,
we referenced the library. I referenced the library several times in mentioning it to you. Um, I really think that'll be a fun hit.
Oh yeah. Yes, I do think that's a great idea. And like I said, I researched. I found some great sort of archetypes, not necessarily in the field, in the subject matter that we're talking about, but stylistically,
Ah,
what we're
yes.
talking about. And the production value, the scale was a size that I think is manageable. Um, and this is so cool. I have a friend in town. Uh, she's an attorney, but her husband is really into film, and she and I have collaborated on some short film projects before. And she and I chatted about it this morning. And if I do need to call in the Riders of
The
Rohan
big
or some
guns.
cavalry to come in, uh, I think she would be a really valuable resource to be able to play in on this and help out a little bit. But we,
Yeah.
you know, we produced a comedy short about 6 years ago that was really good and very much in this style that I'm conceiving of for these videos. So I think it could be good.
I sort of realized this may not. I don't know what your trimming is. If this is a good idea, I don't know that it's wise to bait people. As in, we're not ready yet to disclose what you're doing. I don't really want to be sneaky with the people who are watching this. It's not sneaky. It's a cool thing that we can't talk about publicly because
Okay.
it will suck the wind out of it.
Okay.
But
Well,
to the
then we'll
people who are
stop.
watching this, yeah, it's going to be fun. That's all we can say, right?
Yeah, I think it will. I have some high, not a lot of things to be optimistic about at the moment, but that is one, so that's good. That's
The
good.
most deflating thing ever.
Uh, it could be worse though. This is good though. This could be, spring's around the corner. This idea could bloom like a spring flower and yeah, go forth into the world. So I like it.
All right, my friend, I will catch up with you soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Until next time, sir.
All right, bye, Jason.
Later.